Hello there guys, it's Stephen here. Another game, another win. I think that's 19 in a row now. And as promised, we've got a kind of after-match reaction. My little quick emotional one after the game last night was like 11:30, so I was knackered. And it was short. And we've got another special guest. You've been asking, so I basically put in the WhatsApp messages. And we've got the man, the myth, the legend, the voice, the man with the second best beard in Manchester City's community, Mr. Alex Hylton. Alex!
Hey, how you doing, man? It's been a while. It's good to see you. It's good to be back.
I have missed this awkward fumbling around on Skype for 25 minutes since I'm getting working.
It's awkward. I like the long-winded introduction. I think that's. I'll insist on it every time I walk into a room. Just have you talk about my beard.
I mean, it gets tiring, but I happily do it for you. I'm just going to follow you around now and just doing that intro everywhere we go. After every time you're at the 9320 bar or whatever, I'm just going to have to order a pint that way. The man, the myth, the voice. Like, mate, what's your fucking order? Yeah. But it's good. It's good, man. It's good seeing you again. And we need to go for a pint at a game very soon because I like about my channel. I can do all this stuff because it's good. I can actually talk about this kind of stuff, and everyone.
It's all right. Your social life.
Yeah.
It's fair. Nicholas has been trying to sort out a beer, and it keeps not happening. So let's get you, me, and Paul and Walter in the same room.
Yeah. Nicola, my girlfriend, as you all know, she keeps trying to get all the Blooming Horizon lads back together for a big night. And we're going to do that now. I promise you all. And I'll make sure my camera's there or something like that. But anyway, Alex, man, it's been ages. I've not spoken to you pretty much intently about football since the season started. It's been pretty fucking good. I think we'd all agree with that. And I just wonder in general, like, what is your take on the season so far? I mean, it's obviously going to be positive, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, mate, it's been unbelievable. I think it's just it's been better than we ever thought we could do. I wrote an article about the start of the season about particularly about Leroy Sané, particularly about Kevin De Bruyne, and about how there's a couple of players in the team that are on the verge of like real football elite. I think the fact that Ronaldo and Messi are on the decline a little bit, or sort of coming past their peak, only very slightly. I'm not criticizing, but there's going to be soon. There's going to be an empty throne for like best player in the world, and I think Kevin De Bruyne is in the mix. And I sort of, as soon as I started writing that article, I started looking down the team sheet, and there's players like Sane that you sort of feel like one season of like real consistent form for a year, and we could be talking about these players as the elite. But what is taken by surprise the number of players throughout the team that we didn't even expect it from. Players like Raheem Sterling. Think about Raheem Sterling this time last year. The Euros just finished, and he was a broken man, and there was no confidence in him. And just looking at him now, he scored a goal, a Premier League goal every 94 minutes this season. That's like Thierry Henry form. Never mind, for a little winger that apparently can't finish. And it's just so exciting watching the team. I'm so proud watching the team.
I'm proud as well. It's good, isn't it? You feel like a sense of like achievement for them, especially for Sterling, a man who's had so much criticism. I mean, we may as well go on to Sterling now because, like, once again, he's come up from. So he's developing this real desire to be the leader, isn't he? Almost, he's proving all these people wrong. And in my opinion, that celebration, you can see it driving him towards success, just in spite of the people who've been calling him for so many months.
Yeah, I hate the word, but he's proving the haters wrong, man. And he's there's such a vitriol. I feel like I'm turning into Walter here, sort of correct people, but there's such a vitriol, and you see a lot of like the ex-Liverpool media are so quick to point out any mistake that he makes. I think that we forget so often that he is just 22-year-old and he's doing his own thing. And you know what? I think he looks like he's just enjoying being a professional footballer, and he's enjoying kind of being the centre of attention, and he's enjoying scoring goals. And I think compared to a year ago, compared to the teenager that we picked up, it's so exciting to see a player like him playing for your team, and he's someone every time he gets the ball at the minute, he looks like he's going to do something. And the team is, I think the team is weirdly, it's built around Sterling and Sane. Going forward, it's all about using their pace, and he must feel like the king of the world at the minute. And I think he's doing a pretty good job.
I think he's
so far. That sentence hasn't got an end to it, but I just think he's really good.
He's pretty good at kicking the old football, isn't he? And he's getting better at kicking the old football, a bit better than I was anyway. But he's epitomising for me anyway, this whole thesis that we've got about Pep being this kind of master coach, about how he can get the best out of people. And we're seeing De Bruyne, as you said, stepping into almost that potentially vacant world's best player role. Obviously we've seen Ronaldo, Messi kind of going slightly slowing down a bit this year. But then obviously Sterling's right in behind him in terms of one of our most improved players. Like he's grown so much. And then Stones as well is another good example. A man who I've got a theory now that he's become our leader. I've got a theory that this younger generation of players, you think about Vinny's generation was the likes of Zabaleta, Hart, Clichy, all those kind of players. Yaya Toure was part of his generation. He's been phased out. I think this next generation of players, I think they're valuing people like Sterling and Stones a little bit more because they're their age. You know, Leroy Sané, people like De Bruyne is only new. He joined the club more at the same time as Sterling. Yeah. I think Gabriel Jesus, I think these players, I think their allegiances in a good way are starting to move on. And I think they're starting to seeing the signs of a team that's evolving under Pep. And we're not looking backwards anymore.
I think Stones is definitely like a captain in the making. I think that's definitely that'll be my bet. You know, in 3 or 4 or 5 years, Stones will take the armband.
Yeah,
but I think we need to wait for that little bit. I don't think he's the leader that the whole team will look up to. I think it must be quite interesting for Vincent Kompany to take the armband because as much of a character as he is, I imagine he gives a great speech before the game. I imagine he's exactly the sort of person you want to put your arm around you when you're struggling. But he's effectively been a squad player for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And it must be getting harder and harder for Vincent Kompany to come back into that team and stamp his authority when you've not been playing every week through no fault of his own, through his injury.
Definitely.
When you've been sat on the sidelines and we've started to look like the players like De Bruyne and the players like David Silva, they've become the characters in the squad. They've become the players that carry the squad. I don't know what, it's not really for us to speculate on whether Stones is the man in the dressing room that's doing the talking anymore but I think that will happen in the future. And if players that I look up to.
I mean, it's a natural evolution that it'll just happen slowly, you know.
Yeah, and you would expect that Stones, he's in his early 20s or his mid-20s, and he's somebody who, it might not be Mancunian, but he'll be Northern, and he's grown up knowing about Manchester City and know what it is, and you're not going to get that for an international player. And I think it would be really great now if this is the club where Stones has his best years, and he plays here for another 8, 9, maybe 10 years, and the club gets built around him as a solid rock, one of the first names on the team sheet, in the way that John Terry had the defence built around at Chelsea, in the way that Ferdinand went to United and it was built around him there. You kind of those sort of constant players, those are the spine of the team that you rely on. And I think we're starting to see this kind of legacy built around the club, this dynasty of players. I like that word. This dynasty of players that hopefully will become the core of this club. And I see Stones, I see Sterling, I see Edison in that. I think you might even see Kyle Walker. He's a little bit the older on the spectrum, but I think that this sort of you call the greats. When you think of the Invincibles, you think of Henry and Bergkamp and Vieira.
You think of Kyle Walker and John Stones.
Yeah.
So I love the idea of the John Stones dynasty. It sounds like some art house film I really want to see at the corner house. It sounds amazing. It's like a bit like Kez the sequel or whatever. But yeah, like onto last night's game, that was it was a huge victory once again. I mean, we're getting these very stern challenges, as Pep said himself only a week ago. Like winter has come. It's getting bleak, it's getting cold, and it was fucking freezing last night. I was stood there freezing my arse off watching that game, and it's getting to the point now where these challenges are coming very thick and fast. And I think because of Huddersfield and how close they went, I think they've set up a new level of parking the bus, like interview fun, like the double parking the bus now, parking double yellow lines, and like it feels like now teams aren't doing the whole 4-5-1 and everyone behind the ball. It feels like they're starting 5-5-0, and they're just destroying. And Huddersfield at times, Huddersfield, Southampton in particular at times, they were just time wasting from the ninth minute. I've not seen that in a long time, and I wonder if this is obviously a byproduct of how we're playing, and I think we're so it's getting to us a little bit. I think we're still working out how to deal with that, I think. And I'm just wondering, obviously coming United, I'm expecting them to do exactly the same thing at a higher level, probably.
I think it's sort of interesting seeing how every manager approaches it. And I think it's, like I say, a byproduct of the way that we play. It's going to be like that, isn't it? Yeah. People are going to come and defend because what else have you got? I know Guardiola gets frustrated saying, I want them to come out and attack us, but... Yeah. Teams aren't going to play how we want to. That's what football management's all about, isn't it? And we're going to start seeing players try and wind us up and try and get us bookings and sending off. So they're going to see them, the long walks, take a throw in and that kind of stuff, and goalkeepers taking ages to deliberately frustrate us and make it difficult. And we're going to start seeing players getting kicked, and that's part and parcel of the game. But it's up to Pep Guardiola as the best manager in the world to find a way around that. And I think it's up to the Fernandinhos to protect the players, and it's up to the players like the Kompanys and the John Stones, that are going to be captains, to just keep calm and carry on and just kind of play our game the way we want to. And ultimately, it's not worked. We beat Huddersfield, we beat Finals, we beat Southampton, and I think teams are starting to work out, they will work out, you've got to find another way because you can't, the attacking options we've got in the side, if you defend for 90 minutes, if you frustrate us for 90 minutes, eventually we'll find a goal, because we've got players that can score off free kicks, and we've got players who can score screamers, and we've got players like David Silva who can unlock in 90 minutes. David Silva could unlock any back four in the world, or any back five or back three or whatever. And it's a phase. It's a phase. Managers will try this and they'll come, and eventually we will drop points, and then everyone will play like that. You know, when Everton dropped points, Everton got a draw against us early in the season. Everyone played like Everton. Last year, when we were smashing teams, then we drew in Glasgow, and everyone started to play like Celtic, and everybody had those wing backs pushing up, like Kieran Trippier, who had a great, not Kieran Trippier, Kieran Tierney. And everyone started doing that for a bit, and eventually we found a way around it. So it's just a phase of crap, tedious football. Touch wood. Aguero is still fit for Christmas. Normally, Aguero's on.
He disappears, doesn't he? Yeah.
But you know, this is where, if we're going to start losing points, if the wheel's going to come off our season, it's going to be December. We've got Spurs away, which we've got Spurs at home and United away. Both of those games come in a big rush. We've avoided the horrible game in Shakhtar away, which is a massive save. But it's 12 games in 6 weeks. There's going to be rotation. There's going to be players left out. There's going to be those balls slapping against the inner thigh in the freezing cold.
What, David Silva's balls?
I don't know, man. It's hard now, and I can't handle it.
I can't look at him. I was genuinely thinking before. I nearly typed a tweet. I was like, I wasn't ready to see David Silva's fucking cock. Like it's genuinely unsettled me a little bit. Like, you know, you feel like you can't look someone in the eye anymore. I mean, I don't know him, but it's like it was a bit too much. I didn't know where to look when I saw the picture. I was like, and now everywhere I look now, I feel like I can see it just there, following me around. It's a bit like, oh.
Close your eyes.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I wasn't ready for that. To me, he's like this weird kind of just like asexual being that just exists or whatever. I don't know. I didn't think we were talking about this on the video, but that's weird. But yeah,
is David Silva married? Has he got kids?
There's never any. That's what I mean. There's never anything about him ever mentioned in the press. I mean, he seems happy, so fair enough. I think he just does what he wants, doesn't he? But I presume he was like, I'm not even gonna go there. So I presume he's like a mannequin, you know. Just you don't even think of that way, do you? But, like nothing there. But yeah, that was a strange one. Let me know in the comments what you thought of David Silva's package. Anyway,
which of the Manchester City players do you think of in that way?
Well, I don't even know, but like I'd never even thought of David Silva even being. It's a strange one, isn't it? On to something a little bit less weird, because I'm weirded out now massively. Equally as weird actually. Guardiola, a very weird and wonderful man. Like, it basically the clickbait journalists have gone absolutely overboard this today. So many hot takes all over the internet talking about the Redmond incident, where Pep obviously gesticulated passionately. We've seen it before with Guardiola. We've seen it with Kimmich, his own players. We've seen it constantly in training. It's very Guardiola thing. And I can see both sides of the argument here. There's people saying it's not the time and the place for it. It's a disgrace. There's people saying that's just who he is, Guardiola. He's intense. He's come out on Guardiola and said that he was just saying to Redmond, "You're a great player," and it's a shame basically that you weren't showing what you could do, which I think is his frustration about the defending. I'm kind of on the fence. I think with someone like Guardiola, who's obviously, in my opinion, a genius, I think he's more than just a football manager. He is, but I think his brain, he's the kind of guy who can't sleep at night because he doesn't stop thinking. I think with him, it's just a byproduct of his personality. I think he doesn't mean any offence. I think he's just so highly strung and emotional that every now and then things like this will just pop out, but I don't think he means it offensive. I don't think he knows what he's doing in a good way. I think it's just an instinctive thing to do. What's your take on it?
Yeah, Guardiola's mental. There's no way putting it past him. And also, if Guardiola hadn't discovered football, if he grew up in a family that it'd be someone who it'd be writing philosophy books or all kind of crazy stuff. Yeah, he's mental.
He hangs around with chess players, doesn't he? Like he hangs around.
It's weird because I watched that clip and I when I saw it back, didn't see it at the time. But when I saw it back, it was something where I don't think it was as nice an exchange as Guardiola's playing it off. Yeah. I think even by Guardiola's standards, I think it was a touch on the aggressive side. I think Redmond as well. There's that thing where Redmond's like ignoring him and walking off, and Redmond definitely says something that makes Guardiola spin around in a circle and sets him off again. But I think
calling ball or something
against us. When Huddersfield come and defend against us, it's to be expected. When Feyenoord do it, when Southampton do it. In my book, Southampton play quite nice football. I don't watch Southampton every week, but the sort of description next to their name in my head, Southampton play nice football. And we've been to St Mary's in the past, and they've played quite attacking, attractive football. And players like Nathan Redmond, he's an attacking winger that plays good football, and he's somebody who was on the fringe of the England team. And I think Guardiola saying to him, actually, you should be playing a bit more adventurous. You should be knocking on the door saying, I want to score some goals. I don't want to be sitting behind the ball all game. I do sort of see that. But then it's not for Pep to tell other players of the teams. But you know what? I like that we've got a passionate manager. And I sort of... there's a lot of Guardiola fanboys that say Guardiola can do no wrong. And I don't think we should kiss his arse just because he is Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, no, I agree.
With Pellegrini, we had a gentleman who was always polite and always nice, and maybe sometimes didn't show a lot of passion. And I quite like having someone who lives and breathes Manchester City, and somebody who, like you say, goes to bed and thinks about Manchester City and knows. I just sort of feel like Pep Guardiola knows everyone's name at the whole club and knows all the 15-year-olds, and he's sitting there at night panicking about how the under-16s play and stuff like he wants to know everything. And I sort of feel like if that extends to the other team and he wants to control that as well, I think maybe that's not a bad thing.
No, it's just it's a byproduct of who he is, isn't it? Like, you have to take the rough with the smooth with someone like that. And like, I'm sure Steve Jobs was like that. I'm sure Steve Jobs was a confrontational, in-your-face kind of guy. I'm sure Bill Gates is. I'm sure all these people who are intrinsically successful in their lives, I'm sure they occasionally just overstep the border of being slightly narcissistic geniuses. You're like, a bit intense. The best people are. They're emotionally intense. And I think, I don't want to sound like patronising, but most of us who just go about our jobs and play FIFA and chill, we probably can't understand what's going through his brain sometimes, because it's so neurotic and mental that it's just information overload. And I think that's the way he sees the world. And I think in his head he's in this little kind of bubble when it's happening. He doesn't even realise what's going on. It's just sheer in the moment intensity. And it happens. And I think
I imagine it like sort of, that really cliche scene from from films, it's in every film in the world where there's a genius writing on the chalkboard, and it's just this kind of long thing. He's running out of space on the chalkboard. It's going all up the wall, but he's
got a solution. All of a sudden, he's like that, I'm going away.
And he's in 5 different languages. Like, some of it's in Catalan and some of it's in German. And there's a bit in English. None of it makes any sense. And everyone stood around baffled, and he's just talking.
That happens apparently. Apparently in his office, he's got loads of stuff scribbled on his wall. Some of it's in English, some of it's in Catalan, or whatever. He's just there, and then he started answering that question in the press conference the other day, where he got asked in Catalan, answered it in English. Someone told him he'd answered it in the wrong language. Then he swore in English. He's like, it's just, how do you deal with something like that? But anyway, Alex. Big game, West Ham at the weekend. Fernandinho didn't get the booking that he tried to get last night. He wanted to get a booking. He was kicking people. It was funny. You could tell the ref was like, yeah, you're trying to get booked because you want to be suspended for the derby. Didn't book him, so he's still on the yellow. Sane didn't play last night with an injury. I think that might be a precaution. He's on the yellow as well. Are you expecting a few changes for this game? Because obviously they've got the derby coming from the Premier League, and that's a huge game. Potentially a league-winning game if we get a little bit of luck.
Yeah, I think not to write off West Ham.
No.
You can't write anyone off the Premier League. If ever there's a team to come and park the bus, I think it's going to be David Moyes' West Ham, who are desperate for any
form, aren't they? They're in shocking form as well.
Yeah. I think, in fact, West Ham aren't going to be desperate for a point. I think they're going to be desperate to not get battered, basically. And I think that maybe you just don't even play Fernandinho. I don't think West Ham are going to come out and play against us. Do we need a hard man midfielder that's going to get wound up, by Mark Noble or whatever? No. Who do you play in that role? Do you put Danilo at left back and then have Delph kind of covering in midfield? Or possibly, I'm not sure, but I wouldn't play Fernandinho. No, I think and it's we've got such a squad depth that I think we can do that against the team at the bottom of the league. Is that too much to say? Am I being arrogant?
No.
Play 4-1-4-1, put Gundogan there, but
that's what I think we'll do. Actually, I think he'll play Gundogan deep. I think because he can. It might see Bernardo Silva come in for someone. Maybe De Bruyne might get a rest. I think there'll be a few changes. Then I think there'll be loads of changes for the Shakhtar game. But maybe 1 or 2 big ones will play Shakhtar, just because Pep respects the competition. So speaking, I don't think he'll just play all the guys who've never played a game, for the past few weeks or whatever. So, but yeah. Anyway, Alex, that's the end of these talking points, mate. Thank you for coming on. This has genuinely been a pleasure. It's fun.
Oh, man. It's been absolutely awesome. I've missed it so much, and it's been a real pleasure kind of doing a video with you, which is why I think I've just sort of spewed out all sorts of nonsense. I think it's just
I've missed your 4 or 5 opinions. They're good. You think of things I don't think of, so it's good, man. It's good. I speak from the heart when I say, and I'm sure everyone in the comments say the thing like, I know I like how it's not Blooming Horizon, it's not quite a professional setup, it's just myself. So you ever want to come on, just give me a shout and I'll find time to get the Skype on.
Hey,
always.
I'll say it now, like, you're absolutely smashing it, man. And it's so good to have somebody like producing quality City content and as I do that Blooming Rising could be no more, but it's just great to see you still smashing it out and you're absolutely rocking it. And it's been a pleasure to come on the channel, man. I'd love to do it again sometime.
Yeah, and I'll see you again soon. Guys, big thumbs up for Alex because he's a fucking hero. Get liking the video, get in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.